Hi, I am Omar Kafagi, and this is the C-Suite at The Open. Joining me today is Essam Hamza. He's the CEO of CloudMD. Thank you for joining me, Essam.
Thanks for having me, Omar.
So Essam, tell me a little bit more about CloudMD and what you guys do.
So CloudMD is a health tech company looking to really disrupt and revolutionize the way healthcare is delivered, from more of the historic, brick and mortar, doctor-centric model to more of a patient-centric model where a team-based approach is used to connect the doctors, the specialists, all the allied professionals to the patient using technology. CloudMD, we are not just a startup. We actually own an electronic medical records company, and we're in about 376 clinics, about over 3,000 practitioners already using our software. And we have about 3 million patient charts in our system already. And on our patient portal platform, we have over 100,000 patients already using our technology.
Yeah, and Essam, I believe that your business is now more relevant than ever with the current pandemic that we're dealing with. So tell me, how did that impact your business, and how were you able to benefit from it, or how were you able to adapt to any negative impacts?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So CloudMD has been around as a public company for about 2 years now, just over 2 years. And we really have been saying the same thing from the beginning. We've said this is the future. The future is telemedicine and connecting the healthcare team and all of the different parties with the patient and their caregivers and so on. There's always been, 3 barriers to getting that done. One was changing patient behavior so that they believe that that's the best way of going, instead of going to a walk-in clinic and sitting in a waiting room and spending that whole day there. Or the doctor behavior. How do we change doctor behavior and adoption so that they believe in telemedicine? And then thirdly was the government regulation, getting governments on board to actually fund this, to pay for these services. And in March, in one day, basically all 3 barriers disappeared. And every province came out with a telehealth code, and now basically, instead of just British Columbia having telehealth codes, all provinces across Canada and the States had the ability to pay for these visits and so on. So really what it's done is it sped up our business plan for, by about 3 to 5 years. But we've been saying the same thing for a while, but now we're just much further ahead than we even expected.
And how are you planning to build on that growth that happened over the past few months? What are some of the growth opportunities that you see for the next 12 months for CloudMD?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a land grab right now. So we are expanding very quickly. We just did a very big raise of about $13 million recently on a bought deal. And we're using that money to expand right across the country and actually North America. So we will be getting, we believe the future is a combination of brick and mortar in a hybrid model, and we can describe what that looks like, with the telehealth on top of it. So it's not just purely one or the other. It's about continuity of care, longitudinal care, team-based approach. And to do that properly in our system, you need the buy-in from everybody involved. And really that's what the doctors are looking for, the patients are looking for, and the government's looking for. They're not looking for virtual walk-in clinic services, which is not really what we're going after. So coming to your question, we started announcing expansion. We do own 6 clinics in British Columbia. We bought our first one in Ontario. We'll be adding a lot more clinics across the country. And those clinics are not going to be traditional clinics, not the mom and pop 1 or 2 or 3 doctor clinics. They're going to be much bigger than that, have a lot more, much bigger in terms of number of doctors and specialties in that clinic and that footprint, because each doctor now only works maybe 1 or 2 days a week in the clinic, and the rest of the time they're on our platform using telehealth to connect to the patient. And we'll have that right across the country, as well as the telehealth side of it. We've also expanded our direct consumer app. We right now are in BC. We also now are in Ontario, and we will be expanding and turning on every province over the next few months. And that doesn't cost anything to the patient. We charge the provincial plan, so it's free to download the app and free to use and see a doctor at any time.
So Essam, as an investor that is interested in the story and closely following it, how would you convince me that CloudMD is an attractive investment opportunity?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Honestly, the space is quite hot right now. This is the new normal. I think people are realizing that now that, there is no going back to the way healthcare is delivered previously. I always ask the same thing to everybody who asks about that is, are you willing a year from now to take a day off of work and cross town and sit in the waiting room with people coughing around you for an hour and a half kind of thing? And the answer is no. I mean, I'm comfortable using my phone or my computer and seeing the doctor. If I don't have to go there, that's what I'll do. So I think this is the new normal, and it's a $260 billion in Canada healthcare industry. And so even a small fraction of that moving to virtual care is a very big amount. As a company ourselves, I think we positioned ourselves to be very differentiated versus other players. We're not a virtual walk-in clinic. We believe in team-based approach, and to do that, you get the buy-in from the governments as well as the different players, including the doctors and the patients. But finally, the comparables. You look at the comparables in space on both sides of the border, and they're trading at much higher multiples than we are. And we believe we have a little bit of catch up to do this year with some of the things that we're going to be executing on that we feel like we'll catch up in terms of valuation compared to other people in the industry here.
Okay, and finally, earlier this year, you moved your listing from the CSC to the TSX Venture. So tell me, what does being listed on the Venture Exchange mean for your company?
We're extremely excited and proud and very happy. You guys have been very helpful from the beginning here and along the way. It opens up a lot bigger investor pool. A lot of institutions and investors and brokers and so on have the ability now to invest in our company. So it brings us to a different level, I think. And people who didn't see us before are definitely seeing us now. We just talked about that investment that we just had, that big raise. It was very successful, but partly because they knew that we were moving over to the TSX Venture as well. So we had a lot of interest at that time, and we look to continue to grow with you guys. So we're pretty excited about the future, and I think that with the combination of your resources and your exposure on your exchange and so on, I think we can do quite well.
Of course. Well, thank you for joining me today, Essam, and I hope to connect with you in person sometime in the near future.
Thank you very much, Omar.